So lately, I've been thinking a lot about conditioning and productivity and the way that our society has shaped us to believe that our worth is determined by our ability to produce and to do work and to get work done. And I'm still exploring this. I don't feel like I've come to a conclusion that my perception is full or complete. But with this time that I have living the way that I am right now, the way I see it, there's no future, which there really never is. But truthfully, I have no idea when I will have obligations in when I'm going to be obligated to show up for other people, when I'm going to feel pressure to spend time with friends, to show up for a job, to check my schedule and see what I have coming up, having plans made and having to follow through and prepare to be prepared for whatever it is that's planned out. All these things are non-existent in my current reality, and I love that. I want to really seep into that feeling, and it's very challenging. So I'm trying to think back. There's this voice in my head that says you can't just do what you want to do all day and create. You can't just love your family, love your friends, and be who you are. You can't just take care of yourself. You have to work as well. You can't. It's impractical, and it would cause imbalance somewhere. But is that necessarily true? Like, is that only in consideration of what the collective agreed upon reality is that I've been a part of for so long? So then I'm thinking about like hunter-gatherers, and there was work to be done, and the work was providing for your family. You had to harvest the food, hunt the food, create shelter. There was work to be done. It just wasn't the type of work that we are used to. And so that reaffirms that there is a need for a balance of work and doing and playing and being. But the type of work there was purpose behind it, and there was direct reward, and it was for things that matter. You need to do X to live. You need to do this to take care of your family, to be safe. The action was inspired by a need. And now our society is more, it's still, you need to work to provide for your family. You need to work to be safe. You need to work to take care of your basic needs. But it doesn't feel the same. Because you're not working, the work that you're doing isn't necessarily important to you. It's to make money and to make the most money possible so that you can meet the needs that you have. And so the choice and the way in which you do the work, the independence and the freedom of expression and method and creative interpretation of the tasks at hand are null. And I think that's missing from our society. We're so conditioned to do certain things a certain way, and even to the point that our school systems are teaching kids these weird ways of doing math, and if they don't do it the way that they're taught, but they get the right answer, they're incorrect. And personally, when I did math in school, I used to try and do it any way I could to prove to myself that I got to the right answer. That was how I knew I got to the right answer, was doing it different ways, as like a check. And it had to make sense to me. Now people don't necessarily make sense of it. They memorize this formula and they plug in data points and they trust that formula more than they trust their understanding of what it is. And that's led to a lot of problems. Anyway, I'm just sitting here thinking about how I'd like things to be different, and at this time we have an opportunity to be creative and dream up a possible outcome that would be ideal for our community, for our culture, what things about our society were working and what things weren't, and the things that weren't, what could we do differently, and what would it really work? Because it's very easy to be idealistic and think of a perfect utopian society, and then if you really dive in and you're willing to be honest with yourself, you quickly find a lot of problems with the instinctual, well, this is how it should be, this is how I wish it was. And then I usually come to the terms with, well, this is why we do things the way we do, because it's not easy. And unfortunately, the complete freedom that I desire for people, some people would abuse. And it does seem like we're in a revolution of some sort in terms of the technological advancements and having a direct understanding that certain jobs can and should be done remotely or with technology to reserve our resources, to be more efficient, and to use human power for things that human power is needed for, creative opportunities, not robotic, mindless tasks. And a lot of us aren't educated or prepared for that shift. But I think it's important that we remember who we are and why being human is an advantage to what technology can do for us, and why there is room for both to exist and coexist and work for each other rather than against. But my point of coming and talking about this was really the concept of work, and is it necessary to do work, and in the way that we view the term work. Maybe that's where my aversion is, because I'm not against working. I'm not against putting in effort and resisting challenges that come up and pushing through and practicing discipline and growing with the resistance. But it doesn't feel that way to me.